I'm Dan Grec with The Road Chose Me, and I'm here at the 2019 Virginia Rooftop Tent Rally. Today, I'm going to show you around my Jeep Wrangler that I purpose-built and then drove all the way around Africa. So I started in Morocco and I drove 54,000 miles right around the perimeter of Africa through 35 countries. So I knew that a Rubicon Wrangler is already very capable in stock form, so I didn't need to modify the base vehicle. So it has a stock engine, stock transmission, stock axles, all of that I know is already strong enough. What I focused on in my build is all the creature comforts. So the sleeping setup, the cooking, drinking water, all of the things you need on a daily basis so that you actually enjoy a trip of this length and, in these wild places, rather than just kind of eat ramen noodles every day and tolerate the trip. So up here at the front, you're gonna notice I put hood vents into my hood. The Jeep wasn't overheating, but in the intense temperatures of West Africa, it was running really hot under the hood. So I cut these hood vents myself. I just used an angle grinder in Mali on the side of the road. And actually I added a mechanical cooling fan as well to the engine, which not many people know. It's actually a factory Mopar part, and it makes a huge difference to the amount of airflow through the radiator. So under the hood here, you'll notice right away is the Optima yellow top batteries. There are actually two of them mounted there in that location. They're a really tight fit, but they do fit. And they are isolated with this big solenoid. This is from Painless Performance. What I love about this is it's simple and it works. It doesn't have any electronics, it doesn't have remote monitoring, it doesn't have any parts in it that can fail. Day after day, it just clunks and the batteries are bridged together when the engine's running, and then it clunks again and the batteries are separated once I turn the engine off. Also charging the second battery, I have 200 watts of solar panels permanently mounted to the roof. Those are Renogy solar panels wired through a charge controller that's in the back of the Jeep. And I love that they're permanently mounted because it means no matter what, when the sun is up, I'm making solar power. Even if the angle isn't ideal, if I'm sitting in a gas station parking lot, or if I haven't even gotten out of bed for the morning, the battery is already being charged and I haven't had to sort of unload panels and prop them up in the sun and deal with cables that get worn out over time. So all of that stuff's important, but let's have a look at the really exciting and unique part of this Jeep, and that's the interior living space that I built. What I normally do now is I would sit on this side of the bed and then pull the other side of the bed towards me and make it as well. And then that's how I'm upstairs for the night. Also, another really cool feature of this, some afternoons, I would make it like this. I would sit up here, read a book, eat a sandwich, but whenever I want to, I can just come back downstairs to get into the fridge or to get my laptop or whatever else I forgot and I left downstairs. So by having this kind of half bed system, it's actually a really nice feature where you can have the bed and you can even take a nap, or you can be downstairs and get things you need out of the fridge. I bought a pop-up roof from a company called Ursa Minor out of San Diego, but what I really wanted was this ability to stand up and walk around. So what I did is I modified the original roll bar and I moved it back into the corners so it's out of the way, and I opened up this whole section of the roof so that it's all open like this during the day. And so when it's pouring rain, when the mosquitoes are horrible, I can sit in here, make a sandwich, work on my laptop. I can get by even though the weather's terrible. So I asked John at Ursa Minor if he was willing to help me with this idea, and he thought I was a bit crazy, but I did convince him, and so he actually made this for me from the factory. So some of the fiberglass here, they had to modify their mold to change the way that Ursa Minor is made. And he has made another one like this, but he told me recently he'd prefer not to make any more. It's quite difficult and time consuming to make. Something else I built into this Jeep is a drinking water and filtration setup. It's really hard to show you on camera where the tank is. It's actually mounted under the Jeep between the frame rails, and I put a rock guard on it so you can't really see it. Behind the driver's seat, I've got a water pump out of an RV. I've got a 0.5 micron filter and a UV lamp. So that means I could onboard water all the way around Africa, and I knew it wasn't going to make me sick because I was filtering it and the UV lamp was killing all the nasties that could be living in the water. And I can show you now, I have a faucet here in the back, and basically when I turn on the tap and then turn the pump on, we're pumping out of the tank through the filter and the UV lamp, and then obviously here out the tap. And so as strange as it sounds, this is actually the most useful feature on my Jeep. I use this at least 10 times a day in Africa. I filled up the tank probably twice a week. And as you can imagine, you know, water is life. If you don't have access to clean drinking water, you can't drive around Africa. So after I'd emptied out the interior, I saw the space I was working with, and I knew I needed all my storage boxes for food, for clothes, those kinds of things. I'm not much of a carpenter. I don't think I could make them very good if I just made them out of timber. So what I settled on is I used these aluminum tube connectors. And so you can buy this aluminum tube from Home Depot or Lowe's, and these plastic corner connectors mean that no matter what you build, you're always going to have square corners. So once I had my dimensions, it was really fast and easy to put these cabinets together. On the outside, I just screwed plywood directly into the aluminum. You can see I'm not the world's greatest carpenter, but these cabinets have been in here for 3 years. I've used them every day and they still work perfectly. So I think they were perfect for the job. They were cheap and they're really light. I can pick all of these up with one hand because I don't like inverters. They're big and heavy, they're inefficient, they use up power. So there is a company that makes adapters so that you can charge laptops off 12 volts. So I think they're called GPK. This little thing converts 12 volts from the Jeep into my Apple laptop wants, I think it's 19 volts at some number of amps. So I charge my cameras, all of my batteries, my headlamps, my laptop, everything is charged straight off 12 volts. I don't have anything that needs 110 AC. I spent a long time living out of this vehicle and I've been really happy with how it performed. And to be honest, there's nothing I would change or do differently. It has been brilliant, absolutely fit for purpose. And then across social media, I'm The Road Chose Me on Instagram, and I have a YouTube channel as well. If you want to see bribery from Nigeria, getting stuck in the mud in the Congo, rolling the Jeep in Uganda. Thanks very much for checking out my Jeep. Hope you enjoy the rooftop tent rally.